Well, hello to part two of why spirituality in coaching is absolutely vital. And we're here again with the lovely Betska K. Kerr and her right hand, John, who's actually going to keep a low profile tonight. We have lots of people around the world, some who didn't log into the first call, but we want to really crack on with the methodology. So we're going to focus on that today, and at the end of the call, as we did last time, you'll have the opportunity to speak to Betska yourself and pose your questions either in person or in the chat box. So without further ado, over to you please, Betska, and we look forward to learning the actual steps and the questions that brought you those fabulous results that you shared with us last week.
Yeah, really. The results are just phenomenal from using spirituality in coaching. So let's toast to that. Hopefully all of you have some water there. What I'd like to do is just go over 6 slides from last time, just to, in case some of you haven't listened to the recording yet, but do listen to the recording. And I will be sending the slides and a handout to Dawn, and then she can send it out through the International Authority email system. But spirituality and coaching, gosh, we've been around in this industry. We've been doing this for 22 years or something like that, and there's just so much that we now know about the science of coaching and how to get fabulous results for our clients. And as I won't have time today to go through some of the fabulous case studies that I did last time. There was another case study I was going to share, but I want to get on to doing a review of a few slides and then moving right into the tools themselves. And yeah, so without further ado, let's just move on to. I'm going to move into slide number 7 because it's important. And this one was about my first coach, Jan Sweeney, who kicked my butt because I was bankrupt emotionally, mentally, intellectually, spiritually, physically, on all realms. I was bankrupt. And she taught me how to go into my subconscious mind to find the unconstructive beliefs causing me so much pain. I had trouble getting out of a chair. My brain was foggy. And Jan was one tough coach. And in the beginning, I was a little bit of a stubborn mule, just like this guy here. But I can tell you that what I'm presenting here today, I invite each of you to try yourself. Try it on yourself. These methodologies I developed for me first to self-coach. I coached myself, and then people started knocking on my door to say, well, can you help me? Can you help me lift my depression? Can you help me with my physical issues? Can you help me with my relationship with my husband, my wife, my kids, whatever, right? My core competencies as a leader, can you help me? And so the methodology I'm presenting here today is for you first, and you can self-coach, and you can do it every night. Give yourself a break on weekends, and watch your own spirit lift. Watch your own clarity lift. Whatever's going on for you, watch it shift and change. So that's my invitation to you today. And you may remember that per year, for many years, I removed an astonishing 3,500 to 4,000 unconstructive belief systems in my subconscious mind. I have the notes to prove it. I take notes on everything. And what I discovered there was shocking to me. All these negative thoughts, these unconstructive patterns, these limiting beliefs that I had in my subconscious. And Win Wenger in the Einstein Factor said that it is our subconscious that holds the power of a Leonardo da Vinci or a Plato. So we must know how to get there. As coaches, we need to help our clients get there. Otherwise, let me make a bold statement. Why bother coaching? We want them to get permanent, positive change. I believe this is where the coaching industry must go. Okay, yeah, so I took a vacuum cleaner to my subconscious mind to clean it all out, and this is what we do for our clients now. Number 10, the definition of spirituality means the ability to connect our clients to their divine self for permanent positive change. Because the God self has all the answers. The client is in a state of the highest frequency, which is love. Love is stronger than fear. So whatever fears you have in your subconscious, use the methodology I'm teaching here today to kick it out. Kick them out, I tell you. We don't need to hold on to them anymore. We want to put ourselves and our clients in a state of no limitation. And let me share with you that I use these tools on myself all the time still. That's how much garbage is in that subconscious mind. Okay, I'm going to move on to 32 here. I never got around to 32 last time. The evolution of coaching. And I'm being kind of cute here, you know, saying Fred and Wilma, they were cave folks, you know, so other than being the Flintstones, they used to talk to each other, right? That's who they had to talk to. And then later we have parents, grandparents, uncles, aunts. We also have spiritual masters like Christ, Buddha, Ching Hai, Lao Tzu, you know, the Sikh masters, etc. And then we acquired greater knowledge of human behavior, you know, psychology, sports coaching, consulting, training, mentoring, school teachers, right? And then talk coaching models or conversational coaching models, which most of you are familiar with, where you primarily use questions to stimulate logical left brain responses, and you rely on your client's willpower to generate change. That's not the future of coaching because it is too weak. I'm being very bold here today. Now what we need to have as coaches, we need to have a knowledge of epigenetics, the mechanics of how cells function. When I do mind kinetics coaching, I am working at that cellular level. I am popping receptors for myself and for my clients. We need to have knowledge of mind, body, spirit connection, how humans can evolve into more of their divine selves. We need to understand the connection between mind, body, and spirit. We need to understand the universal laws of human behavior, vital. And we need to have knowledge of integrated use of electromagnetic fields, biology, quantum physics, how to shift the client behavior at a cellular level. And somewhere in these slides is my book, The God in Coaching. God in quotes, no religion here, right? It's just about spirituality. The God in Coaching, the key to a happy life. I invite you to order it and I invite you to use it. Now, so what do these 4 boxes do for us? Well, what's happening is coaching is based on scientific principles, which create permanent positive change by raising the frequency of a client at a cellular level. And those of you, last time we talked about Dr. Masaru Emoto, the Japanese scientist, right, who took bottles of water and taped words on them, love, hate, you know, Mother Teresa, so on, Hitler, and then he froze the water and studied the molecules under a microscope, and what he saw astonished him. What he saw was that love and Mother Teresa and hope and kindness, those molecules looked like jewels. They looked like beautiful snowflakes. And all the negative ones, right, like Hitler and hate and evil, those molecules of water were dark and dingy. And so we're talking frequency here. So when we are coaching, the evolution of coaching today is we must raise our client's frequency so that they're no longer looking like this brown, murky molecule. They look like a snowflake. Wow. So the result is that the client then can stream in solutions from their superconscious, their God self, for whole brain thinking. The heart chakra opens, the wisdom eye opens, all the chakras become balanced, and wow, that's when you have permanent positive change for your clients. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is the evolution of coaching. And one last one, maybe we'll have time another time to finish these slides, but thebrainwalk.com, I briefly talked about it last time. This will be another tool for you to try. I'm not going to demo it today. It's self-explanatory. You can use it on all your iOS and Android systems. If you have an iPad, you know, go to the iOS store and download the Brainwalk. There's also a values cards app. There's also an app for super excellent selling. If you're a coach and you're doing your own selling, go and do that tool, right? And download them. And it's a beautiful experience. If you don't have an Apple device, then use your Android cell phone to go to thebrainwalk.com and try it out. Do the Brainwalk for Peace. Do that one first. Okay, cool. Now I finished the slides. I'm going to go into the notes. Here we go. I'm going to hide that ribbon. So, Dawn, can you see this okay? Is it big enough? Or should I make it bigger?
If you can make it bigger and just get rid of the bottom line, fine. If you can't, I'm sure we'll manage.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know how to get rid of the bottom line.
Okay, well, the top line then, the kitchen sink bar, that's it. Yeah, that will do.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
So these are the notes that I'll be sending through to Dawn, and she can forward it to you along with the slides. So what we're presenting to you here are some tools, and there are some notes at the beginning here, but this is the full power coaching model using the science of mind kinetics for permanent positive change. You help the client find a real issue, real goal, then you look at roadblocks. Let's look at this for a moment. We're studying emotional roadblocks, intellectual roadblocks, spiritual roadblocks, physical roadblocks, and all the fears stopping you from achieving your real goal or overcoming your real issue or real challenge, right? Most coaching models will only look at the intellectual and physical roadblocks. And this is a major issue for us because, reflecting back on last week's presentation, we now know that the receptors that are sitting on our thinking cells constricted because of some emotional event, and the emotions are clogging up those receptors. So we need to address the emotional, spiritual, and that's the way we pop our receptors. Yes, we can pop receptors, get clarity, if you will, looking at intellectual and physical roadblocks, of course. But 99% of the time, the biggest roadblocks are emotional, spiritual. So again, this is where the coaching industry must go in order to be as revolutionary as we want to be with our clients, right? So coaching gets an even better name than it has now. Third block is emotional charges, logical emotions preventing us from thinking clearly. Again, the therapy industry has said that it's their job to look at emotions. And I say, why? Why is it only your job? No, since we all know about cell biology now and that those receptors are blocked because of some emotional event, then we better figure out what emotions are stored in there. And so we have a chart, a big chart full of emotions, like anger, frustration, whatever, right? 55 or, I think 50 unconstructive emotions and 50 positive ones. Those aren't all of them, but they're just some to trigger the client. And then we want to find the root cause. What's really bothering the client at a heart level? It can be the actual age when the pattern began. Now, today's methodology, we're going to be talking about what's happening at the heart level, but we're not going to find the exact root cause age. I can take you, any one of you in this call, into your cells, and I can help you find the age of when an unconstructive pattern began in 5 seconds. That's how fast mind kinetics is. That's how fast we must be as coaches, because otherwise we're going to be, forever helping a client get through a challenge or accomplish a goal, right? So root cause, the actual age when a pattern began. Perhaps we'll have an opportunity later to demonstrate a methodology like that. It's superb, but you'll see it's powerful what we're going to do here today. And then universal laws, the universal laws that can assist you in changing your choices, like the law of belief, and the law of service, law of the mirror, powerful laws that help us to change our choices. Very important. These are universal laws of the human spirit, and also universal laws of personal and professional leadership, right? Then we're going to talk about values, not giving and not receiving, and giving and receiving. Values. Values like recognition and honesty, integrity. We have 76 values that our clients select from. And we also have values cards. These are values cards, and each one of these cards has a value on it. Again, each word has a frequency, right? So forgiveness, integrity, pious, and we use these values cards, one of many tools, to help our coaches help find roadblocks in the subconscious mind. Very powerful to do. So easy to do because each of these words has a frequency, has a vibration. So it's a real science. It's amazing. And of all of the values, the value that has the highest frequency is love. Love followed by grace, of course. Yeah. And then we have the integration process. This is where you tap into you help the client tap into their genius for permanent positive change. This is very important. You take them into their, you're popping the receptors in their subconscious mind. You're getting rid of all that negativity that's remaining. Now, believe me, that when you go through all of these previous blocks, like roadblocks, charges, root cause, universal laws, values, the client is popping receptors. They're already, a lot of their emotions are spewing away. But the integration process is like putting icing on a cake. And so it will release remaining emotions that the mind is willing to release at the cellular level. Notice I'm talking cells, not brain. People talk about brain-based coaching, and to me, the brain is just the manager. The cells are in charge of who we are as a person. We have to make that shift in the coaching industry to really understand that. So as I said, I take my clients into their cells to find out what's really going on. And then with the integration process, with all those emotions released, then we take the client into their superconscious or their God self for solutions. And this is where we become like an Einstein. We stream in solutions from our superconscious, from the universal energy, the life force, whatever you want to call it, God self. It's the same thing. Yeah. And they stream in a solution in the form of a symbol, an object, a color, a feeling, or a sound. Could be music. And then they decode it. Well, what is my God self? What is my superconscious trying to tell me? It's very exciting. Are you excited? Okay, I am. I'm always excited. And then we have resources, right? Internal, external resources, and we create a plan, and then commitment and accountability. So there you have it. This is the full power coaching model using the science of mind kinetics. And as we said, mind kinetics is the science which opens the mind, okay? Opens the cells and empowers the client to receive new ideas and take action for permanent positive change. So if you have not listened to that first webinar from last week, please go and watch it, and also just review it and maybe even watch it again, because there's a lot in there. And then read the book, The God in Coaching. We talked about the power of the subconscious mind last time. I'm not going to go into that. This one is the Clarity Solutions model. And what we're sharing with you here is that in every coaching session, we want to take the client from lower power, where they're in frustration, blame, guilt, anger, whatever negative emotion. We want to take them into their higher power. Every 90-minute session, a mind kinetics coach must do that. And here they're tapping into their wisdom, their intuition, their greater peace, and so on. And because this is where solutions lie. We're not going to get solutions in our lower power. So as a coach, we must take them into their higher power, must pop all those receptors, because that's where those real solutions lie and permanent positive change will take place. Okay, and we talked last time about the secret behind mind kinetics coaching, pentalateral thinking. Our coaches need to know how to help a client access the left brain, the right brain, conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. Subconscious meaning where all the patterns lie in the cells, right? In the electromagnetic field of the cell. Okay. So for coaches to be the most effective, we need to do three things. We need to have the ability to quickly and effectively go into the subconscious mind to find the unconstructive programming, all that negative yak, yak, yak that exists in ourselves and in our clients. Programming that we usually don't know exists, or we may know it exists, but we don't know how to change it, right? Mind kinetics changes it. Number two, we need to have the ability to permanently change those unconstructive beliefs in the subconscious mind into positive ones. Wow. And number three, the ability to access the superconscious for genius solutions. This is how. This, to me, is the future of coaching. So then we got a bullseye, right? Okay. And this is our coaching tree, by the way. I've developed over 80 individual coaching methodologies. Look at them all. They're massive. And I'm going to be teaching you number 12, conversational coaching with mind kinetics. And as the students start off here and they're learning good stuff, and then when they get into the senior certified and professional certified, these coaches are unstoppable because, for example, the last level, they're finding root causes of health related. I've had people heal their cancer. I've had people get rid of their colitis, whatever, right? If their karma is not too heavy, then man, they can stop anything with the power of the mind. And then remember I talked about the integration methods where we have to take the client into their subconscious and then into the superconscious. Well, guess what? We have 39 of those methods. This is how big this science is, because each one, or first of all, back here, each one of these coaching methods has its own frequency. I developed each one to have its own vibration, its own frequency. So the coach chooses the methodology that has the perfect frequency for their client that day. That's a science. And then same with taking the client into their superconscious. Each one of these has its own frequency. I'm going to be teaching you 2 of them today. Cool, huh? Okay. Now, here's the model. Model for conversational coaching with mind kinetics. And what I'm going to show you how we're going to help the client find the real issue or the real goal. Then we're going to get to the heart of the issue, right? We want to begin popping receptors, left brain, right brain, conscious, subconscious questions. We want to talk about feelings and roadblocks. Okay, we'll get to that. And then exploration of unconscious thoughts. More exploration going into that subconscious mind, universal laws and values reflection questions. And then integration into the subconscious. As I mentioned, I'm going to give you 2 tools today to use. Then you're going to create a plan of SMART goals for your client. And then commitment, accountability, and greatest learning. And so this is the simple model for mind kinetics. Again, as I move into it, I urge you, each of you, to work on yourself. The more enlightened our coaches can be, the global coaches can be, the more we have inner peace, the more we can create world peace. So peace starts right here, right there. Okay, so I've made this really simple, because normally we have a quick guide, but I've made it really simple here. Number 1, please remember when you're coaching yourself and others to have some water. Water is important to, thoughts are electrical. Our thoughts are electrical, right? So we need to have electricity flowing, atta girl done, electricity flowing between the left brain and the right brain and back again and into the subconscious and superconscious. All coaches must invite their clients to drink water, no matter what method you're using. So you're going to say to yourself or to your client, we're starting with that first box, how to begin and finding the real goal. When you're starting out to learn, we're inviting you to just work on a goal, not a challenge, because you're going to need more training for that, right? I'm giving you something here that is incredibly valuable, but you're going to be working on a goal, not on a challenge. Most of my clients want to work on challenges, which is fine because maybe they've never found anybody else to help them with it, right? Including, remember that one woman, that middle manager, where she had tried therapy for 30 years and she was getting worse. All they did was give her higher and higher levels of antidepressants, and she was already at the highest level, and she was suicidal, right? Mind kinetics got rid of all that garbage that was in her subconscious mind, and what a joyful life this woman is living now, thank God. So, okay, so 1A, you say, welcome to the coaching room. I invite each of us to pick a values card, which represents the value we can bring to each other in today's session. So that's these cards. You don't have them. But what I'm going to do to Dawn, when I send this to Dawn, I'm going to include a values chart, and you can use it that way, which represents the value we can bring to each other in today's session. Let's share how we can bring that value to each other. And then, so you have a dialogue. So if I pick recognition, I'm going to share to my client how I'm going to bring them recognition in the session. And they will share how maybe they picked respect, how they're going to bring respect to me. Yeah. And this is very important for setting the stage for intimacy, one of the core competencies, right? We want to set the stage for really connecting with our clients. These values cards are heart-based, so we are connecting our heart to the client's heart. Very valuable part of the process. And then 1B, what do you think is the real goal you'd like to work on today? So you say to the client, okay, what real goal would you like to work on today? And you may wonder, well, why are we saying real goal? And the reason why we're saying real goal is because some people might give us some rinky-dink goal. No, we want them. When you say real goal, they stop and think, oh, I better pick something important here, or I better articulate my rinky-dink goal into something that is more powerful. 1C, thank you, and then you say, what results would you like to receive from our session? You're in this methodology, you're going to read to the client everything in bold. Everything that's unbolded is just for your information. And you don't give this to the client, this is just for you, right? So you say, what results would you like to receive from our session? Very important, right? We want our clients to clearly articulate what they want to get out of the session. Why? Because it sets the subconscious into motion. Sets the superconscious into motion, saying, oh, this person is serious. They want some powerful results. Sometimes the real goal and the results are the same. That's okay. Usually it's not. Then 1D, you say the mind kinetics methodology we'll be using today is called conversational coaching with mind kinetics. It explores in a very in-depth way your real goal, the roadblocks, universal laws, values, and so on. Our intent is to develop innovative solutions for you. We'll both take notes. Ready? Now, with Mind Kinetics coaching, we insist our coaches take notes, and our clients get a coaching journal. And it's a coil bound. It's got all kinds of information on the science. It's got forms in it. It's got charts in it, and it's got space for every single coaching session. And they log in. They take note, okay, what's my real goal or real issue for the day? What results do I want? They're making notes of their roadblocks. They're making notes of the new belief systems they need. They're making notes of what happened when they went into their superconscious, you know, and you know, what the decoding is. They have a place for their plan. Anyway, very powerful. And the coach needs to take notes because you're going to see how in-depth this process is. And you want to be able to review this with the client next time. When coaching first started, and many of the main coaching models today still say to the coaches, don't take notes. We must take notes. We must take notes because if you want to help a client find a pattern, you need to see on paper or on your computer, right? You want to see all the detail of what happened at all the various ages so you can see what the pattern is between the ages, for example, right? Notes, we have to take notes. Step 2, in touch with the real goal. Okay, so we're going to ask some cup emptying questions to allow the client to empty their cup. You want to listen deeply, give them lots of time to answer, and you want to write down exactly what they say. Now, remember what I said about pentalateral thinking? Okay, the left brain is the logical, sequencing brain, right? Usually, not always, but usually. The right brain is our innovative brain, our creative brain. It's our connection to spirit. It's also our connection to our subconscious mind. Then we talked about in the subconscious, these are where the beliefs are stored, our patterns, our habits are stored, right? And then the superconscious is where the solutions lie, right? This is our divine self, if you will. So these questions, I'm repeating all that because these questions will take the client into various parts of the brain mind. So let's look at this. In 2A, what is the most difficult, scary part for you about this real goal? Okay, where is the answer to that question going to come from? Is it going to come from the left brain, the right brain, the conscious, subconscious, or superconscious minds? Where is it going to come from? Who can share with me where that's going to come from? See if I can open the chat here. Okay.
If anybody puts anything in the box, we have an answer.
Oh, yes.
Subconscious.
Oh, yes, great. So Rebecca and Anja, thank you. You both responded subconscious mind. Excellent. Yes. Okay. Let's see if I can move this chat box over there. Voila, I can. Okay. Now, 2B, what is your main concern about this real goal? Where is that response going to come from? Left brain, right brain, conscious, subconscious, or superconscious? Good question, huh? Main concern. Think about if someone asked you your main concern. Rebecca is saying from the conscious mind. It could. It could. Yeah. More often than not, it's going to come from the subconscious because they have to stop. They have to think about it. Well, what is my main concern? Right brain is what Juana is saying. Absolutely. Right brain and subconscious, right? Because the right brain is connection to the subconscious. And yes, it can come from the left brain and conscious. It can, but that comes from the intellectual part of us. So it's up to the client where that answer is going to come from. If they want to look at themselves deeply, they're going to go into that subconscious mind, right? Okay, 2C, how are you with all of this? What a strange question. You remember when during webinar number 1, how I mentioned to you that I do extensive meditation every day, and all of these 80 methodologies plus 40 integration all came from my meditation practice. They kept streaming in, right? And so this question came in, how are you with all of this? I thought, what a strange question, right? Like I need to put it in different language, but no, it's important to ask it this way because it's a catch-all question. The client can answer whatever way they want. They can talk about their feelings, or they can say, well, this is where I am with my real goal. This is how much I've achieved of my real goal right now. Just let them talk. But let's go to 2D. What is it about this real goal that is really bothering you deep down at a heart level? Where is that answer coming from? Anja's saying superconscious or right brain. Anja's saying subconscious. It's actually coming from the subconscious mind because it's buried in there, right? The heart is hurting because we are not achieving this goal, right? So it's actually coming, it's a pattern in our subconscious mind. It's a habit. The emotions are stuck in our cells and we need to release it. So it's actually subconscious. Yeah, good. So you can ask the question and you want to stop as a coach and you want to say, are they really connecting with their heart here, or is it just some fluffy left brain stuff? So if you, it says right here, if you feel they aren't quite in touch, ask. I invite you to close your eyes to see what other thoughts come forward. What is really, really bothering you deep down at a heart level? Get them to close their eyes, because when they close their eyes, they can get more in touch with what's in their heart. Sometimes I even I invite them to look inside their heart. That's what I'll do. Yeah. And other options, as it says, invite them to look in their heart. They can also pick a values card. You don't have values cards, right? You don't have these, so you can't use them. But in this particular case, but try it the way it is. If you want a deck of cards, you can always write to us and we'll put a deck in the mail for you. Or you can find them on the iOS store. Okay, number 3, feedback. A. Okay, so once again, your real goal is you repeat the real goal to them, and then you're going to repeat back exactly what they told you in 2A, B, C, and D. And you're going to do it like this. So, client, you said that the most difficult or scary part for you about this real goal is, and you repeat what they said. You said your main concern is this. And how are you with all of this? This is what you said. And what's really bothering you deep down at heart level is this. So, and you're doing this because you're giving the client the opportunity to go deeper into their processing without interference from you, without you interfering them. And by the way, at 2D, because you're going into the subconscious, you are helping the client to pop receptors. In fact, we always say to our coaches, don't go past 2D until you feel the client has got in touch with what's really bothering them deep down at a heart level. That's when the emotions start to release from those receptors of the cells in charge of that real goal. Everybody got it? Okay. Then we're going to identify the feelings. And in this package, I'm going to be sending you a feelings chart. And you hand this to the client and you say, well, what are the top 2 feelings does this real goal bring up for you? Top 2. Because if it's a really intense goal, they're going to give you 10 or 20 feelings, right? So just say the top 2, and you say, which of these feelings, if any, would you like to explore? And let them talk about it. And how is it that you are feeling this way, right? You want to continue the popping of those receptors. Get rid of all that garbage that's sitting in the subconscious mind that's stopping them from having a peaceful life. Number 5, identifying the roadblocks. Remember, we said with Mind Kinetics, you look at roadblocks on 4 levels: emotional, intellectual, spiritual, and physical. Okay? So, as you voice the roadblocks, again, you want to jot them down. Client wants to jot them down. You want to take very good notes. So you say to the client, what emotional roadblocks are stopping you from achieving your real goal? And please repeat their real goal. Why? Because you've taken the client on a real roller coaster. Sometimes they even forget their real goal. Honest to God, that's what happens, right? And if you had the values cards, if they get stuck and they can't find an emotional roadblock, then we will use these values cards. But I'm going to send you a values sheet, And that might also help the client. But the cards are brilliant because, again, the client picks the exact one that they need. And then you say, and how is this a roadblock? How is it stopping you from achieving your real goal? It's not enough to just articulate the roadblock. It's not enough. You want them to go deeper, and so you say, well, how is this a roadblock? How is it stopping you from achieving your real goal? So, question for you all. Emotional roadblocks, where are the answers coming from? Left brain, right brain, conscious, subconscious, superconscious. Where are those answers coming from? Emotional roadblocks, where are they stuck? Yes, Anja, you're right. Subconscious. Yeah. Right brain, subconscious. You got it, Juana. Yeah. Okay. So then you're going to ask intellectual roadblocks, same idea, same thing, same fashion, right? What intellectual roadblocks are stopping you and how is it a roadblock? Well, that's clear. It's coming from the left brain, right? But we need to ask that logical, conscious, like people often know what their intellectual roadblocks are. And then what are your spiritual roadblocks? Spiritual roadblocks could be lack of love of self, could be lack of love of God, lack of faith in self and others, blah, blah, right? Different kind of things. How is this a roadblock? And same with physical roadblocks. So watch what we're doing here. Emotional roadblocks are coming out of the right brain, subconscious. Intellectual roadblocks are coming from left brain. Spiritual roadblocks are right brain, subconscious. Physical roadblocks are back to left brain. So you're taking them bum, 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 right? Right brain, left brain, right brain, left brain. Subconscious, conscious, subconscious, conscious. Do, 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 do. Those receptors don't have a hope in heck of staying closed, I tell you. If the client is feeling heavy at this time, invite them to pick a card which represents a value they are displaying in their life at this very moment. You can use the chart again, and you can get them to pick a value. Maybe it's self-love or love or respect. Let them pick the value that they are giving to themselves at this very moment, just because they are exploring their real self here. Okay, now, exploration of unconscious thoughts, 6A. You're going to give them a chart of universal laws. We don't have time to go through those laws today, but watch and see when you're doing this on yourself and on others how powerful the laws are. Which of these laws do you believe have come into play here? As I mentioned, they are like law of service, law of belief, law of karma, law of the mirror. Yeah. Very powerful laws for us as coaches to know. Again, all of these are written in my book, The God in Coaching. You can go there and learn all of those as well and how to use them. 6B, client, what are you really thinking? What are you really believing at this moment in time? What's really going on for you? You've explored so much. What are you really thinking, really believing at this moment in time? Where are those answers going to come from? Well, what are you really thinking is coming from left brain, and what are you really believing is going to come from right brain subconscious, right? It's going to come forward. And again, you're popping receptors in 6A and 6B. You are popping receptors like crazy. 6C, using the CLI values chart, what are the two most important values you are not receiving here? Oh, values that are not being demonstrated to you. The heart is hurting because values are not being demonstrated to them. And how are you not receiving each value? The thought is coming to my mind that some of you on the call, or those of you listening to the recording, some of you, like me, will have had traumatic childhoods, right? Abusive, maybe. Yeah, or maybe the parents just didn't know how to demonstrate love. I've had so much hatred in my life. When my mother died, she forbade me to go to her funeral. So much hatred I had from my mother. It's kind of laughable because she's dead. How can she stop me from going to her funeral, right? It's funny in a way. But this is how much hatred and anger and negativity that can sit. So I had to release all of that and just send my mother to heaven with love. Why? Because she simply didn't know any better. She had very low consciousness. God bless her. I don't know how she lived. So I've had my share of pain, right? 6D, what are the two most important values you are not giving or not expressing? You, right? C is about one's values not being given to you. D are the two most important values you are not giving or receiving or expressing. Sorry, not giving or expressing. And how are you not giving the value? 6E, what top two values do you believe you are giving? Wow, got to round it off, right? Because we're not giving or receiving, but yes, we are. We're always giving something. We're giving acceptance, or we're giving wonder, we're giving understanding, right? These are all the values, again, that are in this deck. And then 6F, how can you finally let go of the judgments you have of yourself and or others in the situation? Sometimes the client is not ready to fully pop here and they don't know, and that's okay. This is like a check-in question. How are you doing, client? How can you finally let go of the judgment? Whatever their answer is, you accept it. Okay. Now we're going to get into the release of the emotional charges, the integration section for innovative solutions. And you say 7A, based on everything we've worked on today, what new beliefs would you like to gain from today's work? Take a moment to write them down and let me know what you have recorded. You've been through a roller coaster here. So you say, what new beliefs would you like to gain? And that's going to start coming in from the superconscious, right? Because they've popped so much. The debris between the subconscious and superconscious has been, much of it has been released. So now they can start streaming stuff in. Not fully yet, but they can maybe start. And then you say, 7B, in a moment, we'll be doing an exercise to integrate all of your great positive work today into your subconscious mind and allow additional ideas, solutions to stream in from your superconscious. Are you ready? So now, see this pretty birdie? Isn't that nice? Okay, these two methods I'm giving you, one is called Fibonacci sequence. Remember, I developed 40 of these, right? More than 40, but anyway, I showed you a chart of 39. We're giving you two of them today. One is called Fibonacci. This is for the left brainers in your life because there are a lot of left brain men and women, right? And the other one is called Colors for the people who are more right brain, who like that kind of stuff. Okay, so this is what you say to your client, and you always have water, and all the way through, all the big parts of the methodology, conversational coaching with mind kinetics, you want to get the client to drink water to keep the energy flowing between the left brain and right brain, subconscious and superconscious. And you get used to it after a while. You get to know when you need water or when your client needs water because you're so connected through, you're in the client's electromagnetic field through this whole process. And I didn't even talk about that yet, but you tried, and you're going to see you are connected to your client. You are in the same electromagnetic field. It's like this ball of light, if you will. Okay, so you say, number one, to integrate our work here today and develop more innovative solutions, let's do a quick exercise based on the Fibonacci sequence. Fibonacci was a 13th century genius mathematician. So you're going to invite them to write down the following numerical sequence: 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, and 34. You're probably wondering, what the heck is that? What the heck is that? Go read up on Fibonacci. That's your homework. What it is, in essence, is that everything on this planet, every bird, every tree, every rock, every human has that following numerical sequence inside of them. We are all made up of this numerical sequence. And when you remind them and reconnect them to that sequence, you take them into their God self, into their divine self, into their superconscious. And look what's going to happen when looking at these numbers. What positive word comes to mind for you? It's a word that must come to mind. So, and they can have their eyes open or closed for this. Sometimes it's better to ask them to close their eyes. And so let's say the word that comes out is elephant. You don't care what it is. It's coming from the client's superconscious, from their divine self. And then you say, okay, well, what does it represent? Because you need to decode it now. Remember we talked about Einstein decoding? All of this work simulates how Einstein used to think. So what does it represent? So elephant, okay, well, what does it represent to me? Well, they are the biggest plant-based eaters on the planet. They're vegan. And then your superconscious has provided you with the perfect solution. How is this a logical solution for your real goal, which is, and you remind them what the real goal was, and then you take a moment to record their answer. Try it on yourself. Try it on your clients, right? And you're going to intuitively select which one of these you want to use with your client. And then this one, look at this one. It's based on rainbows. So number one, to complete the integration of our great work here today, we'll use a tool called colors. I invite you to close your eyes. The eyes need to be closed for this one. Now imagine that the rain has just stopped and in the sky is a magnificent rainbow. Let me know when you see it. I invite you to imagine that there's a second rainbow on top of the first one. Okay, so they're layering a second rainbow on top of the first one. Let me know when you see it. And finally, I invite you to imagine there's a third rainbow on top of the second rainbow. Let me know when you see it. Logically, when we see a rainbow in the sky, a real one, after rain, how does it make you feel? Peaceful. The colors of those rainbows are the colors of the chakra system. So you are popping any final receptors in those chakras where those receptors were blocked. You're popping them and taking them into their divine selves. That's how easy this is. So number three, you say, what positive feelings come to mind now? Because they've got the layer of these three rainbows on top of each other. What feelings come to mind? And I now invite you to imagine that every cell in your body is a happy face. Every cell, we have between 50 and 100 trillion cells. Remember, everyone is a happy face. You start at the top of your head and work down to your toes. And let me know when that's complete. If you have your third eye open as a coach, you can literally see your clients' happy faces popping into all of their cells. It's remarkable. So and you don't need to have that third eye, but that's how I used to do a lot of my early research. I knew that these things were working, right? I could see it through my third eye. So when complete, you may open your eyes. Number four, what does the positive feeling of blank represent to you? And then your superconscious has provided you with the perfect solution. How is this representation a logical solution for your real goal, which is take a moment to record it? So ladies and gentlemen, what we've just learned here today is a jewel in the science of mind kinetics for coaching. And as you could see, what you're going to practice here is helping you, yourself, and your clients to practice pentalateral thinking. You're taking them in the end, you want to take them into their divine selves for the solutions. But you have to pop those receptors. Otherwise, as I said, why bother coaching? And so we've given you the models in theory. We've given you a methodology. We've given you 2 integration methods. And so now let's take some questions, if any, from the floor here. How did you enjoy this, by the way? Hopefully I was clear enough for you.
Yeah, you were.
Anja.
Very, very passionate. Thank you, Betska. I can see that you're living and breathing this. I've got loads of questions for you, but you and I can talk at any time. So I want to open the floor up to our guests on the call. So we can see lots of lovely comments, but if anybody wants to actually speak in person, just unmute yourself and you can start talking to Betska. Will we get the chart of universal laws from you in your handouts as well,
Yes.
please, Betska? Great. Okay.
Yeah. You're going to get feelings, values, and universal laws. Okay. I'm not going to give you fears because fears don't come up in this one. I'm just going to give you what you absolutely need.
And the journal.
So I'm just.
I mean,
Oh,
how useful is that for any of us or our clients without having gone through all your trainings? Is it a standalone product that we or our clients could benefit from?
yes, you can buy them from us. We can definitely. We would be happy to, to give them
a link and a code out to buy those. That would be great. Okay.
So Pavitra, Anja saying, thank you, Betska. That was awesome. Pavitra, lovely interacting with you. Anja, very much enjoyed. Rebecca, mind-blowing, awesome. Lots to think about and integrate into my practice. Pavitra, I especially loved all the cells with happy faces. Rebecca, how can I get your God in Coaching book in the UK, please? Awesome as usual. Okay, so you can.
For that.
Yes, I'll send links to it. You can also go to coachingandleadership.com and you can see there's the CLI store. You can order it from there.
I have a couple of questions for you then, Betska. People who are new to things often worry about opening Pandora's box because, this is quite a deep thing. It's very formulaic. If they didn't get the sequence quite right, or if a client dropped a bombshell, how do they protect themselves? What do they do when they've opened Pandora's box? Is there any reason to be concerned or practice this in more detail before doing it on a client? What would be your advice?
Thank you. This is why I developed these methodologies the way I did, was to protect the coach. Because we know how important it is to look at the emotional, spiritual roadblocks and the feelings. We know now through cell biology why it's important. We need to kick out all that stuff. And so this is why the whole process I developed is very loving, right? Very loving. It's a gentle process. And in the end, okay, when you do these integration methods, you're releasing whatever final negative emotions are there, putting the client into a state of peace. So, of course, we don't call it Pandora's box, but you are opening up emotions. You're getting them to talk about their habits and stuff like that, their beliefs, right, their feelings. But in the end, you must leave them calm and peaceful. And that's what these integration methods are all about. Great question. Thank you.
And I presume that's a 90-minute call. You need that 90 minutes. So, for myself, I usually coach in 30-minute sessions. This is a completely different scenario. It has to be 90 minutes. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Now, sometimes I'll coach for 60 minutes, rarely for less, because I want my clients to get permanent positive change. So they sign up for 90 minutes. Mm-hmm. And if we finish earlier, fine. But no, it's a very complete method for mind, body, and spirit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very good question. Thank you. Next question.
While anybody's thinking about a question or writing down, the 76 values, is that a sort of complete and universal list?
It's not complete. It's like the feelings list isn't complete. There are about 2,600 spiritual values that have been pulled out of, books like the Bible and the Quran and so on. But what we did was we took the biggest ones. So sometimes the client will look
categories.
What's that?
Sorry. So other values would fall under these 76 main categories.
That's right.
Got it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And so again, these charts are meant to be triggers. So the client might look at the values chart and say, well, the value I'm thinking about isn't here. I say, that's fine. The chart is meant to trigger something to come out of your subconscious mind. But most of the time, the chart does a pretty good job.
Okay.
Love to you, Maylin. Haven't talked to you in a while. Rebecca, how ready do you think the world is for spiritual coaching solutions to their problems? I'm hesitant about using the word spiritual in my main marketing message. Then don't use it. I don't use it. I don't, Rebecca, because I work mostly with executives, and if you use the word spiritual, they're going to run. So I talk about the science, about receptors, universal laws. I talk about conscious, subconscious, everything that's in that slide deck that I gave you. But to you guys, it's important. Now, I want to make a comment here that with my executives, for example, I usually start off, just talking about the science and core competencies and all that stuff. And then it's interesting because the work takes them into their divine selves. Like these methodology, you are taking the client into their divine selves, so they are connecting more and more. And then some days the client will call, and like this one guy, he called up, he was an assistant deputy minister in a government, and he said, Betska, and he almost whispered it, he said, I need to learn how to be more charming. Wow. That's taking him into their super conscious, into his divine self. And then he remembered that when he was a kid, his parents always used to say a prayer before dinner. His mother would say a prayer with him before he went to bed. And this executive had forgotten to do that with his 7-year-old. So he said, from this day on, we're going to say prayer at dinner time. We're going to say a prayer with my son before he goes to sleep. And then other executives will say, well, can you teach me how to meditate? Or they'll start to say, well, I went to, by the way, I'm a student of various religions, right? My teacher, Supreme Master Ching Hai, teaches us all the different religions. And so, I can quote from the Bible, for example, so I might bring in some stories from the Bible or whatever, or they might. Some of my clients are very well versed in the Bible, and they want to bring it. They bring it up. So, Rebecca, you hardly have to do anything. The work is you're popping receptors, remember? Yeah. You're very welcome. Okay, good question.
Sadly, we've run out of time unless anybody has any other questions. Oh, hello, Ganka. Lovely. Glad to see you joined us for part 2. I don't want to cut anybody off because, you're such a busy lady. We can't all get one-to-one attention with you like this. So if anybody else has got a question, flag it up now while you've got the chance. I'm sure you'll be able to send emails to Betska at a future date. But if you actually want to speak to her now, or you've got a question about session 1 or session 2, why coaching, spirituality and coaching is so vital.
Yes, I'm just putting my email address here.
Thank you.
Betska at coachingandleadership.com. Yeah.
You're much loved, Betska, and thank you again for your generosity of spirit and sharing. And it's a very, very important, powerful message. And as you quite rightly said, we need to practice on ourselves first and be authentic. And then putting it out there in the universe, we will get the clients who are open to this kind of work. I will have the recording. And Betska, if you just type up my address there, please, so everyone can see it. Dawn at coach-accreditation.services, just to make sure nobody is missed off the distribution list. Sorry, it's accreditation.services, no com. We're ultra modern, you see. We didn't go for a .com or a .eu. .service.
Okay.
That's what we do. We provide a service. So yes, everybody will get everything that Betska sends me. And thank you very much to all of you wonderful attendees. I can see from the comments you've all got a lot out of it. Lots of questions. It's food for thought. I'm sure I'll be able to persuade Betska to do even more for us later in the year, perhaps after the holidays, by way of a follow-up. Who knows? So you can obviously also hire Betska as your personal coach or go on one of her wonderful courses. You offer support online as well. You don't have to physically go to Canada. So you've got lots of opportunities to work with Betska and John. So thank you, everybody. Very heartfelt thank yous. Keep drinking the water. Keep doing the good work. And have a good day if you're in Canada. And for the rest of us in Europe, it's an evening.
And one more point here, Dawn, for those of you who do not have your credential from the your accreditation from the IAPC&M, the International Authority of Coaching. I highly recommend you get one. These folks are coming from the heart, and I believe they're leaders in the coaching industry. So get accredited. All right. See you soon.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye. Mwah.
Bye.
Mwah. Hi, Therese. I saw you here. Saw you on the list. That's great. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Good night.